and welcome to the CineBeards.
This will be our last episode ever.
Apparently, we've gone full SJW.
Oh no!
We are chock full of
Did you guys watch The Last Jedi?
I
been indoctrinated.
I enjoyed it.
Oh no! You mean you didn't angrily tweet at Ryan Johnson afterwards?
You mean you didn't
ruin
Johnson?
You mean you didn't harass a cast member off all social media?
Wow, what's wrong with you guys?
Where's your commitment? Where's your commitment? You're not a true Star Wars fan.
Hey,
Yeah.
I hope you guys are all downvoting Captain Marvel on Rotten Tomato.
Oh no, you can't anymore.
Huh? Yeah,
You
they
can't
changed the whole
anymore.
system.
Finally.
Okay, so
It only took Disney to realize that, oh no, Rotten Tomatoes is trying to tank one of our films instead of DC now. We better step in.
I can't be having that.
we didn't pay them enough.
How long did that take you to come up with between like petitioning for the Snyder Cut?
Oh,
We know you, progenitor of the Snyder Cut.
Listen.
It's owned by Warner Brothers, and people are like, oh, Disney.
Listen, the Snyder Cut is real. It's just really, really, really shit.
And according to known intellectual Jason Momoa, it is the best fucking film he's ever seen.
I'm so fucking pissed he's in Dune. I'm so angry about that.
Maybe he's just like a sandworm.
No, the character he is in the book dies. So.
Sweet! Spoiler, but sweet!
The book
Well,
is
did-
50 years old.
Did he find that out, or did he tear the pages before he got
He
there?
definitely told that book
Do you know
apart
how
before you
thick
read it.
Dune is?
Yeah, you know how strong
Have
Jason
you-
Momoa is. You owe me a speedboat.
No, it's some sort of kryptonite-like substance to him.
Yeah.
I don't know what that green stuff is.
Some sort of kryptonite.
Okay.
Wood pulp! My only weakness!
That's why he's always in the water.
Oh.
Okay, so what we're talking about today is why the fuck do whiny little boys have a problem with female lead in movies?
Because not male.
Wait. Because if you've spent your entire life being the only featured or the only person that's being pandered to in entertainment, then it comes as a shock when something like that changes so rapidly.
That's a measured
Excellent.
response, and we don't have any time for that.
Counterpoint, okay. Girls already have Wonder Woman. Why do they need
Why do they need another
What's
film?
wrong with them?
I
How
mean,
many
yeah.
heroes do they need?
Exactly, and this one wears pants, teaching them not to wear short
She
legs.
doesn't smile enough. She doesn't smile enough.
Women smile. Well, if they don't, they're not pretty.
Yeah. And our entire point, the point of our existence is to look pretty, yeah?
Well, without
According
a
to
man,
John Swabin, yes.
I don't know.
Joss Whedon?
Yes.
What's that guy that used to be on SNL that's now like a late night talk show host? Jimmy
Fallon?
Fallon, I think.
One of
There's
that
two,
great,
there's Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers.
I think it's Jimmy Fallon. That great anecdote from Tina Fey in Bossy Pants, where she's talking about her first day at SNL. And then Amy Poehler was there, and she's like, oh sorry, it's Amy Poehler's first day. And then she comes in, and she's like just making these absolutely like bar jokes, you know, like just fucking totally off color. And then Jimmy Fallon's like, no, that's not cute. And she just turns, she was like, I don't fucking care if it's cute. And Tina Fey says, all she was thinking was, my friend is here, my friend is here.
I do love those two. They're the cutest couple in comedy.
Right?
Yeah. Well, them and what's his fucking name? Metal Gear Solid.
Hideo Kojima
and Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a romance so pure. Don't you mean Hideo Kojima and Mads Mikkelsen, Denmark's national treasure?
And Guillermo del Toro and all of them and the guys from Guerrilla Games.
Yes, them in Guerrilla Games are fucking.
Best ship.
And you see all male protagonists in that story inherently better.
No, but I have to tell you though,
Yeah.
it's like, and you're not gonna want to hear this.
Oh no.
But judged by like how he acts, you know, if Hideo Kojima was a woman, we would call him a slut.
Oh yeah. No, but not we'd call him. He would be one.
He would be a
them's the rules.
slut because he likes more than one person.
Can you imagine if...
That am's not allowed.
Well, you
We're
could
not-
just call him the male equivalent of slut, which is champion.
player, right?
Champion!
No, player's a little too street for me. I play Apex Legends.
I mean, are we going to talk about gender in Metal Gear Solid?
No.
I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we're not going.
Conversation for a different podcast.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
we're
fair.
not about to mention she breathes through her skin.
She breathes through her skin, that's why she's got no clothes on.
Yeah.
It's a legitimate character design.
Yeah.
Hideo Kojima needs his waifu.
Good times.
Anyway.
So yeah, Captain Marvel's coming out. And obviously the internet's taking it in a very good, measured, mature sort of way.
I don't know what internet you guys have been looking at.
Probably at the controlled Chinese
I've
one.
been looking at it from a very, very curated Twitter feed, which I've put in blockers for Captain Marvel to avoid spoilers. So I assume all the discourse has been good, right?
It's been good.
Yeah.
Very respectful, measured.
Cool. Good.
Yeah, no, the world is awful and humanity sucks.
Excuse me, humanity?
Oh!
Don't you mean
Claws are
personality?
You mean huge manatees?
Yes.
No longer endangered.
It's not lizard people. It's just
Which are no longer
fucking
endangered. by the way.
dugongs.
Huh?
Which are no longer endangered.
What, lizard people?
No,
Manatees.
Manatees.
Huge manatees.
What brown ones though?
Huge the ones that...
Are the little manatees endangered?
Yes.
Okay.
Desperately
Oh,
so. Those are just
shame.
sea monkeys.
But yeah,
Say
I
that
think
it's like
like
a
just to
hashtag.
sort of start like what Marcus said is right. Like there is a comfortable status quo, and people are challenged by changing. And I think it's also, I'm not sure if I'm just falling into like stereotypes here, but like if you look at geek culture, which historically catered to sort of white men,
Straight.
18 to
cis,
35.
yeah, straight cis white men, and a lot of them sort of traditionally or stereotypically being sort of socially inept, and it's a very comfortable thing for someone to believe, like, oh, the reason girls don't like me or the reason I'm an outsider is because I'm into this geek stuff, which
Yeah.
you know, it's
that's-
Rick and Morty. You need a high IQ
Well,
to
what
understand.
you're saying is the basis for what incels are.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So
McToes
I'm too smart. I'm too, that's why they're. So if you then have women encroaching on that territory, I mean, it's the same reason that they'll have that cognitive dissonance. They'll actively believe that girls will pretend to like video games to be with them.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
is maybe the weirdest, most
Yeah.
narcissistic thing I've ever
Yeah.
Gamer
heard.
girls.
So,
Yeah.
but if they can,
But all gamer girls are fake. I mean,
but if they can ever, they
just
can't
gonna have to
allow
speak over
themselves
yeah.
to acknowledge that a woman can be into it in the same way they are, because if they acknowledge that, then they have to acknowledge that the reason they're social
Is because
pariahs
they're garbage.
is because they're bad somehow,
'Cause
not
they
because they're too good or too smart or too niche
And it's
they're
also an
misunderstood.
elitist thing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if I share this thing, then it somehow becomes less special.
I've
Yes,
known
like there's a limited quantity of it, and
Yeah.
like we're not going to allow anyone else in here. It's not about expanding things. It's about keeping it our little thing.
Yeah, it's got to be insular.
Yes, exactly. But there's that. It's a bit cliched by now, but that thing about when you're used to privilege, anything else feels like discrimination.
Yes. No,
and
but
there
that's
seems
exactly
to be
what it
a
is.
very real belief that white masculinity is in crisis.
It's
and
under
threat.
attack!
But
Yes.
Jordan Peterson told
Jordan
me so.
Peterson in his 12 Rules to
Are we
Live
going there?
book. I read that
It's like
book.
the war. It's
Oh
like
my
the war
god,
on Christmas.
I've never seen so many different cobbled together ideologies stolen from
Yes.
other philosophers in my life.
Yes.
It's
I read
literally
Nietzsche
like
once.
the war on Christmas.
Yes,
It's like,
like Starbucks
oh,
war on Christmas.
we're so oppressed.
Did you see that Onion article of Christmas refugees huddling in underground settlements, praying around the last Starbucks cup with Jesus on it,
Oh, that's wonderful.
next to like war displaced people as Christian refugees? Oh, the last Christmas.
Oh, sies toch, foei toch, fuck toch.
Exactly.
I think it's a parallel that I see in the metal community as well.
I was just
'Cause,
about to
like,
tell an
the-
anecdote from the metal
the-
community.
The Metallica shirts and whatever that go on sales at these big stores and like Cotton On and stuff like that. People are like, oh, they're stealing our culture, and I'm just like, fuck yeah, more places where I can buy T-shirts than I like.
At
people
a
are gonna see
reasonable
the shit.
price.
Exactly.
I know
Yeah.
someone from what was a fairly large metal band here a couple of years back, and he was huge in like Children of Bodom. Like that was his thing. Like he was so into them.
I've got a shirt.
And I met him. I hadn't seen him in a while, and I said like, "How's it going? You know, did you hear the new Children of Bodom album?" He said, "I don't listen to them anymore." I walked into whatever the bar was, and there were these two emos wearing Children of Bodom shirts, and it's just like, no, it's too mainstream now. I don't listen to it anymore.
Oh, wow.
And that someone can say that without the slightest hint
Of irony.
of irony or self-awareness is just staggering.
That's amazing.
special.
It's, well, a lot of people from my generation were very angry when, you know, the emo kids, they hijacked, like, grungy and gothy looks. And I was like, but that
But
means I can
grungy and
finally...
gothy looks still exist.
Yes, and it meant I could finally get decent black nail varnish. What's the problem?
Yeah, so
It's
it's
my thing.
Yeah. It's literally that it's just people that don't grow out of that childhood phase that like you don't understand. You don't understand.
And this is the thing that makes me a special little, dare I
And
say,
if you-
snowflake?
And if
Yes.
you do
You're allowed
understand,
to say snowflake.
then screw you. This is too mainstream. Then you're just jumping on our bandwagon.
Wow. Well, in that case, I can't wait for mental health to go mainstream. Let me
It's
tell
never
you.
gonna fucking happen, Marcus. We are fucked.
Stop trying to make it happen. It's not going to be a
Not gonna-
thing.
Don't make it a thing.
What? Stop trying to make fetch happen.
What's gonna happen, Gretchen?
What worries me though is like there's a very incredibly loud portion of like the more extremist side, like the incels and the MGTOWs and the Star Trek and Rick and Morty fandom.
What was the second one?
The MGTOWs, the men going their own way.
That's a thing?
Like they're like MRAs.
I thought
They're a
MGTOWs were
subset
like
of the
crabs
MRAs.
in
Yeah.
Fallout.
No,
Well,
they-
you're not wrong.
They're basically incels, except they're not the ones going, oh, no one will fuck me because things are wrong. They're like, oh, no, I choose to stay away from
Yeah.
them.
I
I
choose.
choose
yes.
Women are bitches.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, they do quite often push agendas.
It's true. I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. That's our job. What was I saying?
Wait, I just want to bring something up quickly. So Thomas,
Marcus.
for the 3 other people who listen to our podcast who might not know
There's
what
like
incels
10
are,
people that listen to our podcast.
who are unfamiliar with, because we've been using the term incels.
Throwing it around
Would
recklessly.
you mind explaining to our listeners what incels are?
It's a processor from the late 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah.
No,
You're
that
thinking
was
of
so
an
useful.
Intel.
Oh, okay. Wow. Boy, have I been having some misguided debates on Twitter.
Incels are men that believe that because they are socially inept or
First, tell us
smell-
what incel is sort of a
What does it stand for?
fraction of.
Oh, involuntary celibacy. Involuntary celibates. So they believe that because they are... No, it doesn't stem from the fact that they're weird. It stems from the fact that they're nice.
Yeah.
Nice
Incel-
guys TM.
Yeah, nice guys TM. It stems from the fact that they are nice and believe, for whatever reason, that because they're nice to women, women then owe them sex.
Yeah, because women are vending machines.
Women are
Yes.
sex vending
But
machines.
the thing is, have they
But
shown
you're a
those
woman.
women
Here,
their
here's
cool
money.
samurai
Give me
sword
sex.
connection?
They
No,
have,
it's not even
and
money, it's
also
nice
their
coins.
body pillow collection.
Oh, here, have a cupcake. Give me sex.
Marcus, just give her a compliment.
God, times
Then-
I respected women. You turn in that card and then they have to have sex with you.
Yeah, and I
It's
mean,
just like one of
the-
those yogurt stamps.
Exactly.
with
Wait,
those
is it
really
like-
nice
no, no.
fedoras that they wear, like.
They're
Trilbies.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No, I
Wait,
make
wait,
that
so-
distinction because
so-
Mr. X wears a fedora.
Yeah.
That's fair
So wait,
enough.
so women are
Hey,
prizes at the
I don't
arcade?
see him getting laid,
that
and
you-
he's pretty
Those
pissed off.
prizes aren't machines, somehow.
But yeah, so that
Women, they're both prizes, but they're also kind of like slot machines where you insert nice coins, like listening to her complaining about her current boyfriend,
Yeah.
who's a Chad.
yeah, Chad.
Yeah. He's always Chad.
It's always Chad.
What's
Chad Radball.
He's just
Yeah, no,
always
there's Chads and Stacys. There's a whole like incel
Yeah.
lingo.
There's
Jeez,
no,
I am
dude,
very not
there's
interested in
4
that.
different subgroups. There's Chads and Stacys, which are like what you aspire to be. Cool,
Alphas.
cool, outgoing. Yeah, because people are broken down into subsets of alpha and beta. Don't tell the psychological community.
Yeah, or the wolf scientist who was like, no, that was wrong. We were
no,
wrong about that.
We
But-
missed like we. But anyway,
that's
We
on
fucked
nature
up.
does it.
yes.
So there's Chad's and Stacy's, and then there's the other two, whose names I can't remember, which I suppose is part of the problem.
Mike's and Mona's or something like
Whatever, and they're always portrayed in the comics, in the
Come at me,
like comic
incels.
things as like sad and like hunched over, but also like really good.
Sensitive.
But Chad's and Stacy's are bad inherently because they're great.
It's people that I think watched Revenge of the Nerds at a very young age
Yeah.
and just internalized that as an accurate worldview.
That's an
Yeah.
awful and I
That's a-
think maybe true point of view.
that. Yeah. Also, like, how problematic has that movie become over the years?
Whoa, dude! It is. I watched it a few years back.
It's not great.
It's
Right?
really,
It's good
it's
shit.
really difficult.
I've never watched that movie. So.
Really?
Oh, you should
Dude,
not.
you should watch it. No, you should.
No, you
because
should
it is
watch
the
it.
most 80s thing
Yes.
in the world. It's like
In all the worst ways possible.
Yeah.
it's like MacGyver and the A-Team had a baby and it came out
horribly.
Loving Batman.
just so bad. It is agonizing, and it's like, yeah, they do so. The poor, like the victims in this movie, should all go to fucking jail. Just
Yeah.
So incels are the worst, some of the worst people in the world, yeah?
Yeah.
yeah, oh, they're almost as bad as women. Am I right, guys?
No, I think that's stretching it, right?
Clarien said people.
Oh, sorry.
My favorite thing about
Fair point.
my favorite thing about incelism, just before you continue, is that it's a self-appointed moniker. They, by their own admission, are declaring their non-functionality in society.
Oh, but they're victims in this. And do you know that term comes from a queer woman? I must send you the podcast link. A queer woman came up with this term trying to create a support group somewhere in the States long ago for like socially awkward people who didn't know how to do relationships.
Which is, yeah, okay. Fair enough.
Which is
That's a
fair.
nice thing.
People
Yeah.
struggle with
Yeah,
interpersonal
Marcus's
relationships.
attention.
Yeah.
And then these dude bros just flocked to it and took it over to the point where she's now completely distanced herself from it. And she's exactly the kind of person that the incels would hate.
Well, yeah, she's a woman.
And queer. Like, and not interested in mans.
Oof. There's got to be something wrong with her.
Well, that's what she thinks.
Yeah, she just hasn't had
has
the right
she
man.
Tried.
She just hasn't had the right man.
Yeah.
You just got to pray the gay away. Oh God, pray it away.
It just makes me think of that meme where the kid puts the stick in his own
Yes,
time his
no,
bike. He's like, oh.
That's exactly what it
Yes.
is. That
Yes,
is
it's that.
the incel
You know
culture.
what all of this is like. It's like that South Park episode where where Randy does the genetic testing. It's like, I'm 2% victim. I'm 15% victim. We're all victims.
Yeah.
So, that is one of the worst manifestations of humanity.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we know that 8chan is a place that exists. So,
Sadly.
you know.
Yes, this just supports my point. But it's not shocking when those kinds of people,
Loud, small groups of.
when they do things like making the edit of Last Jedi, where they cut out all the female characters. It's not shocking when such a kind of extremist reactionary group does that kind of thing.
No, because they're extremists in reaction.
Yes, they're fucking
Did
idiots.
they actually do that?
Yeah.
Have you not seen
Yes.
I have not seen it.
I checked. I watched about 15 minutes of it. It's bizarre.
Does it make absolutely zero sense?
When
Yes.
you first meet Luke, he's just busy doing bicep curls.
Injecting steroids.
Like when
Well,
Chewie
but-
knocks the
but if
door
they-
down,
but if
he's got
they-
like 6 women in there.
Okay, this is one of our trademark tangents again, but because they edited out all the scenes with women, does that also mean that Luke no longer drinks the green milk because that creature is also technically female?
I didn't get that
I
far,
didn't-
but that would make sense because they also hate. A lot of people hated that scene because it's un-Star Wars.
Yeah. Because nothing
Yeah,
weird.
because the milk
there's no
isn't
weird
blue.
creatures in
Yeah,
Star
there can't be
Exactly.
weird stuff. People, especially women, can't have
Wait,
funny hair colors.
Sorry, I think you just contradicted yourself there.
Sorry, yeah. Huge manatees
Huge manatees can't
cannot
straight
have weird hair colors.
No, because it interferes with their ability to think.
Yeah,
The head
and
eye sinks
can't
into the
interact
What's that
with
stuff to begin with?
sort of nature in anything approaching like a logical or like believable way.
That'd be too much.
Yeah.
Because women aren't people. Like, it's the bottom. So people like... It's a terrible cut. Like, Maybe don't watch the whole thing, but go read about
No,
it.
go
They were-
watch it.
Just check it
Maybe
out.
make it
You
fun,
hate your
but-
friends
I
that
don't
much.
think you understand
check
what
it
types
out.
of gluttons for punishment we are
Yeah.
here. at
Just
this
check it out
podcast.
for interest sake.
Yeah.
If your
But yes.
masochism is sufficient, then go watch it. It's not surprising that people like that make those things.
No.
What disturbs me or not surprises me is when like more politically moderate men start buying into this and talking about, oh, you know, Last Jedi was decent, but there was so much pandering.
Yeah.
Or Shira,
Whoa, are
the
you
new
Joe
Shira.
Rogan?
Or are you Alex Jones?
She's not trying to sell me Nutri-supplements, so she's not Alex Jones.
Yeah, I know.
I think the thing is there is that tendency to ascribe like that kind of intent, like when there's actual like just normal representation. There's just like, hey, we have like just a normal representative cross section of human beings
Hey, look, a vertical
and
slice.
women
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
this film, like. And then as they will always ascribe that to like a deliberate PC pandering. Like
it's the SJW agenda.
They
It's
wanted
that
these
pesky
characters
agenda.
to all be men or scantily clad women.
Yeah, objectified women.
But
However,
But-
the agenda.
the agenda Disney came in with their Kathleen Kennedy,
No, it's
who
Kathleen
had done
Kennedy.
nothing before Star Wars. Definitely.
Did you see how
Yeah.
people fucking flipped their shit on Twitter when she got the what's it
That
name
award
award
at the
at
Oscars,
the Oscars? Holy
I
God!
missed
It's
that.
like, yeah,
It
she
was
definitely,
fuel
she
for my
had
soul.
no
It was
hand in
tremendous.
like E.T. or Indiana
Mm.
Jones
Or
or
Jurassic
Schindler's
Park.
List.
Yeah.
any
She
of
wasn't
those.
Spielberg's right hand for decades.
Yeah.
You almost said right hand man. I would have
No, I
slapped you.
didn't.
I saw it in your eyes.
You finally watched Last Jedi in preparation
Finally,
for this.
yes, and
Yeah.
How many
And
of the agendas did you
How many
spot?
agendas on your agenda bingo card?
I couldn't see them.
What?
I was looking. I was seriously looking. So there's background to this. I'm more of a Trek fan than a Star Wars fan.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it with a very serious Star Wars fan and had to listen to 3 hours about it afterwards.
I
I
love
was-
that people can be serious about their space operas.
I mean,
Yeah.
as serious
Was
as
it,
it gets,
wait,
right?
was it a Star Wars fan or somebody who loves Star Wars?
Yeah, because
There's a
there's,
big difference.
there's a very important distinction
Yeah.
there.
That is an important
How many
distinction.
people have they harassed off social media because
None.
they were okay?
No, and he's
well,
not very good at this. Like, he hated the previous film, but he loved this one.
Ew. Oh, what?
Yeah, it's very confusing.
Interesting.
I don't know how this
Interesting.
works in my
That
my
is-
twin
That
graphics.
is me. Whoa. Okay.
Anyway,
I think this might have been my favorite Star Wars film.
Yeah.
it's my second favorite.
We're
Star
pretty
Wars
much there
film.
with you.
Second to
Rogue One.
Empire.
Rogue One.
Oh, Rogue
Yeah,
One. was
Rogue
amazing.
One
One.
and Rogue
Whoa,
One.
whoa, whoa! That also had a female lead.
Oh! Did you see? And not everybody was white.
They got you, Thomas.
I know. Yeah, no, you've been
I felt
indoctrinated and
sad when
infected.
the robot died in Rogue One.
Was the robot coded as effeminate?
No,
No,
you're
no.
thinking
Alan-
of-
It's Alan Tudyk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
Alan Tudyk.
Oh, okay. Just checking. Leet, which is
You
just
are being
so on
rescued.
the nose. Just so on the
Please
nose.
resist.
It also had the greatest Star Wars character ever, and I will fight you to the death.
Are you that a big fan of Chirrut?
Yes.
Really?
Oh my god.
He's fucking cool.
Since I saw
Okay.
him in the fucking trailer, I was just like, this is my guy.
Nice.
I would watch like,
You'd watch a Chirrut movie.
but yeah, I would watch a Baze and Turret movie. Like, I would
Yeah,
watch
dude.
a
Well, there's
trilogy.
the whole Baze and
Wait.
Turret
There's
novel
three.
that came out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's why
You can watch 3 Baze and Chirrut movies. It's Ip Man 1, Ip Man 2, and Ip Man 3. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Baze and Turret are just like, but especially Turret is just the coolest fucking character.
Yeah.
And I just want to see everything. I just want to see it's cool.
But yes, back to your Star Wars story.
Oh, I think the film is absolutely great. I could understand better with Force Awakens where people would wrongly say that this is some kind of feminist agenda. It wasn't. It really fucking wasn't. But
Yeah,
we were
because it was
focusing-
just a new hope.
Yes, and we're focusing
really
like a
wasn't.
lot on Rey, right?
Yeah.
But in The Last Jedi, that's not the case.
No, it's
They've
Kylo
even-
Ren's vehicle.
Exactly,
Yes,
and
it's
they
Kylo
totally
Ren's
turned down the shipping between Poe and Finn,
Yeah.
which people had loved from the previous film. Like, there are problems with it. But those problems have nothing to do with gender or representation or race.
You know what I think? Two of the big hot buttons, especially the one, which is where Leia promotes Holdo
Yes.
instead of, and the joke is that the very people that are so angry about that are exactly who it's for. It's like, hey, Poe, guess what? Like, I know the trope is that you're always going to be
man
right.
of action.
Yeah, the man of
saves
action
the
is
day.
always inevitably right. But you're wrong. And the very instant you get your way, instantly you broadcast our secret plan and get almost everyone
Why
killed.
didn't you trust him with a secret plan? 10 fucking minutes!
Like, within seconds of him
That's the
hearing what the
gag.
plan is, he radios to people, not checking, hey, are there any criminals?
That's the best part, is if he had respected the chain of command, everything would have gone right.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
entire story would have gone right. It wouldn't have ended with like everything beleaguered and fucked up.
And people dying.
Which is hilarious. Because the trope is that the man of action supersedes the bureaucrat, because the bureaucrat never knows what they're doing.
Yes.
Because bureaucrats are never qualified, especially not women bureaucrats.
Yeah.
With purple hair.
With-
and in
And
a dress.
The funny
people
thing
were
is,
very upset about the dress.
The thing is also,
I thought
like,
it was a
if
very
you, one of the
interesting design
things
choice.
I
that
want
people always criticize, they always say with Snoke, like, oh, he's not enough backstory, all that.
You
All
mean
our
Palpatine?
understanding of the Emperor
Came from the
came
prequels.
from the prequels and the expanded universe.
Yes.
Yeah.
If
The
you-
one of the very first things with Holdo in the expanded universe is the Leia novel, where she,
Or childhood
yeah,
friendship.
where the two of them as teenagers were stationed there on Crate.
Yeah.
Like, that's why Leia trusted her, partly because they're lifelong sort of friends, and she trusts her, and because she would know where to go.
And you know what the
And
gag?
it's a secret that only the two of them know, and that will ostensibly keep everyone safe.
And it's super hilarious because I was watching it again recently, and the thing that everybody knows her for is being the super successful admiral from the Battle of whatever.
Yeah.
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 It's like, oh, that's Admiral Holdo? Oh, doesn't
Yeah.
look like how I expected. Which is so
That's the
textbook.
point.
Yeah.
The film is like Ryan Johnson standing there pointing, going, "This is you!
This is you fucking
You
slugs!
unself-aware idiots!"
Yeah, but that's why it was a terrible movie. Because it hates me.
pander to me.
It didn't matter to me.
Exactly that point about pandering. Like, I've heard so many relatively moderate, decent guys going, yeah, but the pandering is bad.
What pandering?
As if...
But
Yeah,
like,
like-
but
As if
also we
things
don't
haven't
have
been pandered.
99% of other films pandering.
Exactly.
Like, all the other films are like, well, our core target audience is these white,
18
young
to
white,
35.
18 to 35-year-old
white
men.
cishet dudes.
So let's make something that's pandering.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
soon as you open up the floodgates, it's democratizing. It's the
Yeah.
opposite of pandering.
But that leads to another point. Like, so something like Last Jedi, that is, I think, objectively just a good film, right?
Yeah.
So the accusations of, pandering and feminist agenda, that's clearly bullshit. But when you look at a less objectively good film, like the Ghostbusters reboot, it becomes it becomes difficult there, because it's a cock film. It's
Yeah.
not a good film,
It is
but it's
just
fun.
It's so much
The
wasted
first two,
talent.
the
in
first
one
two acts
film.
were fun.
Yeah, and like, it's the writing. The writing has serious problems. But there's also something about, like, there have been lots and lots of really cock but fun films with bad writing that have your typical, like, male protagonist, right?
Yeah.
Women ensemble casts also have the right to have shitty but fun films like that.
No.
Oh, sorry,
Oh,
yeah.
you were wrong.
Yeah, no, they're not. I
Sorry.
mean, they're not, because Pitch Perfect 2 made more money than Mad Max Fury Road.
I didn't
terrible.
know this.
Yes.
The thing, I think the problem is that the moment that it was announced as
Yeah, it came at this
the
weird
very
moment
first
in time.
announcement of it was who you gonna call like for women, like
The marketing was terrible.
yeah, that's the thing is like
Yeah.
that's when that was Paul Feige, how do you pronounce his name?
Feig.
Yes.
Or whatever, yeah, like that's shooting yourself in the foot. And it's also a lot of the terrible ideas in the film were there from with all the leaked Sony emails, that whole thing at the end where there's like the whole choreographed dance and everything, like
Yes.
that's what he called in his email, which is objectively the very worst thing about the film. Like he called his $1 billion idea that and alien
That and
ghosts.
alien
I'm glad I didn't go with alien ghosts.
But just going back to that, I remember like the earliest stuff I heard and read about that 2016 Ghostbusters was literally in all caps everywhere, all female Ghostbusters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
that to me felt like they were trying to highlight female Ghostbusters, not continuing like
Yeah.
a comedy in the style
Man,
of
we're gonna get
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. Also, they happen to be women.
Yeah, we're gonna get
Yes.
a Paul Venkman with boobs. That's what it sort of.
Yeah, and it's weird because then it turned a thing which is already like in this climate, like very volatile.
Yes.
They try to turn into a marketing gimmick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is
Which is-
always foolish.
That's a very bad
And
idea.
they weren't like we've got Kristen Wiig, we've got Leslie Jones,
We've got some
Kate
fucking great
McKinnon,
actors, great
Yes.
writers.
Yeah.
and also
Yeah.
the shitty lady who's bad at everything.
Yes.
Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah.
And
Is she related
Kevin.
to Jenny McCarthy? Because that would make so much sense.
No.
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 And no,
Damn it.
wouldn't.
I don't think she's an anti-vaxxer like Jenny is.
No, but she's a
No.
terrible person like Jenny is.
I don't think she's a bad person. I just think she's a poor
bad
actress.
Yeah.
Poor actress, bad person,
In
same
fairness,
thing.
like
It's a
if,
movie
um,
podcast, goddammit.
if, what's his name? Paul Blart, Kevin Spade.
Kevin James.
Kevin
Kevin
James.
James.
Sorry. Yeah. If Kevin James can have a career, she can have a career. Damn it.
Thank you.
But
She
Kevin
just
James
needs- she just
shouldn't
needs an
have a
Adam Sandler
career.
to
But he
hire her
could.
all the time.
Huh?
She just needs an Adam Sandler to make movies so she.
Well, but Paul Feig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that's fair.
Oh no, he's white knighting.
Ah!
So,
Yeah.
so like, there's a lot of undue criticism, and there's a lot of pressure when we've had decades of like male-centered films, and now all of a sudden we had Wonder Woman. Now we have Captain Marvel very soon. They're going to be under a lot more scrutiny than the male equivalents would have.
Yeah, they're not allowed to have like.
You can't have the same mistake.
Exactly.
Yeah, you just can't because you're just under so much like pressure, and they make such a huge thing about it. And the problem is like Marvel came out. Thing is, I think. They have the machinery and everything to sort of ensure
That
there's
all
no
will
way
go.
this is going to be bad. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to be good. So
They've got
they
money.
can come out of the gate swinging saying, she is the most powerful character in the MCU.
Yeah.
Like, they made that very
Yeah?
clear.
Yeah.
And I think, like, that ruffled a lot of feathers, but they have the film to back
They
it
have the
up.
fun to back it up. I
Yes.
think that was also coupled with the fact that I don't know. I couldn't find any evidence of this on Twitter, but Brie Larson apparently said something about white people.
Oh wait, no. When she
I know this.
Oh,
she
the
was
interview.
talking
Do you know
about
the story?
the promotional tour
Yeah.
that she was going on, and she said she didn't want all of her interviewers to be white men.
Okay.
Yes, she'd spoken about
So
how
different perspectives.
up to that point she'd only been interviewed by white men, and she said, "I'd like to be interviewed by some more diverse people as well,
So
not
maybe-
instead of."
So-
and then the
so-
headlines were Brie Larson hates you.
Yeah,
So okay, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what.
yeah.
That's
Is
what
that why I feel
makes
like
so
she
much
hates
more
me?
sense.
This
Because,
is why.
Because
Personally.
Oh.
I
Specifically.
saw something on Twitter like, oh, Captain Marvel hates women, Brie Larson, whatever, and I was like, really? That doesn't seem right. But
That's what happened.
That measured statement, ridiculous response.
again, it's that fragility of if someone
Yeah.
says anything that isn't about, "Oh, you're the best," then immediately it's, "Oh, I want nothing to do with you."
Yeah.
It's a total knee-jerk hyper reaction.
It's so fucking weird. It's so weird. Because like.
The problem is if you...
want like getting into just on a like academic level, like being interviewed by different people would lead them to ask different questions, which would
Yes.
lead to like a broader
interesting-
understanding of the
Can
character.
you imagine how
Different
bored you
interviews.
must be as well, just getting asked...
So how much did you work out for this film?
How do you
In
manage
fairness,
personal
that's a-
life?
How
that's
do you
a-
manage being
That's
a
a
woman
fresh
and
change
being a
of pace,
career
them
person?
putting this much emphasis on
Does
the
the
woman's
shoot?
workout routine.
Does the shoot?
Because
change?
until a few years ago, they'd ask Chris Hemsworth about his workout routine, and then they'd ask like Scarlett Johansson how tough it is to be away from her children. Or,
Yes.
like, and they started doing that thing where the men would sort of refuse to answer those questions, and they'd swap
They'd swap
questions.
roles.
Yeah.
To be fair, I did watch her workout routines. They're pretty fucking.
Yeah, no, that's the thing is like
That's
they've
quite cool.
actually made a bigger push now with her and it's the woman from Glow, Alison
Alison
Brie.
Brie.
I get their
Yes.
names mixed up all the time. Yeah, like the two
Love
of
her.
them like showing their workout routines, and before she was chased off Instagram, Daisy Ridley also used to do it as well. And I mean that's cool because that's sort of normalizing it.
What, you mean treating women as people?
No.
No,
Okay,
like,
okay, not going that far.
nothing
Okay.
radical.
No,
Sorry.
we're not talking
We're not
about
trying
that.
to push.
All we're
Some of
trying
your
to say,
agendas.
all Dion
I'm
is trying
sorry,
to say is, he likes it when he sees photos of scantily clad women on the internet.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah.
Let's make that normal. If only they could do more of that on the internet. It's Sorry, I'm just picturing these guys like leaving these negative reviews for Captain Marvel, then going into a meeting, and it's like, okay, guys, today we're going to discuss this. We're going to whoa, take that agenda elsewhere.
Take it somewhere else for fuck's sake.
That's brilliant. Slight topic jump. Did you see the reaction to She-Ra? The Netflix animated.
No, I did not see the reaction.
What was the? I remember
I remember
the
there was a She-Ra
initial.
cartoon, and I remember you
reaction.
said that we should check it out because it was quite cool. For
It
like,
was
Masters
really
and
good. It
stuff.
was.
It is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool and it's great.
So
It's
what's the
also- it
reaction?
hits all the great
sounds like it's probably gonna be
representation
bad.
of
Well, it's the internet.
It's not great. So
The reaction or the thing?
the thing's great.
Okay.
I really like the series. No, the reaction's cock because a bunch of dudes are upset because the person doing the show now is the creator of Steven Universe.
Okay.
This
Okay.
would piss off the bros, right?
Yeah.
And they were very upset because She-Ra was totally redesigned to look. They say androgynous. They're like, no, it's transgender stuff. To me, she now looks like a prepubescent girl. Basically, she doesn't have boobs.
So basically, she's not looking like Red Sonja anymore.
Exactly.
No.
Oh no, not
And they were so upset about this.
They basically like aged her down. Like in She-Ra, she was supposed to be 16,
Yes.
right? Now, She-Ra actually looks like a 16-year-old
Okay.
girl.
But then how am I supposed to fetishize her?
But isn't this a
Precisely.
show for children?
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
But
what's
so is My Little Pony.
Can we not?
Filter.
so let me get this straight. Show for children,
Yes.
Yes.
you know, redesign of characters,
Yes.
Total
To-
aesthetic change.
aesthetic change to be more in line with people that will be watching it,
Yeah.
Yes.
the children.
And following
You're
more
right,
current.
this is a SJW thing. You really made it clear now.
So, but like I
No,
don't.
this isn't for white men aged 18 to 35 at all.
Fucking hell!
Yes.
They got us again.
And here's the thing. I'm a white man between the ages of 18 and 35.
Only
And-
just.
And I... Good one. I enjoyed the new She-Ra cartoon because it was well written.
Stop fucking white knighting, Marcus.
Marcus,
Stop virtue signaling.
just set up the virtue flare, why don't you?
To the virtue signal. It's just a picture of like your Modern Family DVD collection.
There's also an irony in like the kinds of dudes who are complaining about this, going, no, but it's ruining my childhood. Because I used to see.
Oh, you got him. You got him there.
Got it.
You killed-
Dion's having a seizure.
Is that a trigger?
Dion,
Yeah.
Dion has a real. All right, Dion, tell your thing.
Please.
No, go ahead.
Okay. They would carry on about, no, but it's ruining childhoods because I remember when my sister used to watch She-Ra. Of course, I never watched She-Ra. I watched
Oh, yeah.
He-Man.
I just
'Cause it was for
babysat her.
girls.
I just babysat her, and I had
Yeah.
to watch it with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No big deal.
And
If I
they're
hated
upset
it.
about it now. Please tell me about your ruining childhood story.
No. It's just, it's the worst thing in the world. Like,
Agreed.
oh, this new thing. How fucking fragile is
It's
your childhood?
Exactly.
That can be retroactively killed.
Retroactively destroyed. Have you seen the College Humor sketch about that?
No,
I think so.
I just saw Ryan Johnson.
Okay,
tweet about it.
after this, I have to show you that it is incredible. Super good. Anyway, and also like I'm a huge Ninja Turtles fan from when I was young, but I'm also a defender of Michael Bay's Ninja Turtles because like
Fair.
because of how it actually preserves
makes-
like the core characters.
Yes.
My test with this is always like if I was 6 years old or 8 years old and I was seeing this for the first time, would these characters stick with me?
Exactly. Good.
And with Michael Bay's Ninja Turtles, yes.
Yeah.
All the characters are right, all the humor is right. I don't give a shit about like the whole Shredder controversy and stuff. Like they got that right for all its failings. Whereas something like Batman v Superman, it's like if this was your first time seeing Batman or Superman, would they stick with you as sort of these iconic characters that sort of and the answer is obviously no.
Oh God,
No,
no.
'cause
No.
They're
They'd
just
stand
these
up for any kind of-
interchangeably garbage, angry characters.
Yes.
Anyway,
Well, they can't
I
be
think
too
you
Rants
guys
I
bad.
don't
don't
offer.
understand
They can't-
Zack Snyder's vision.
Yeah, he's a visionary genius, and they can't be too bad. They are men.
Yes.
that's
And
true.
white. He's white and rich.
Who?
Batman.
Superman.
and Lex Luthor.
Hey, Superman is incredible. He is the world's greatest journalist who doesn't know who Bruce Wayne is. Even though Gotham is like you can see it.
There's just a city. He doesn't know the most famous person.
Superman can
Just
hear
there.
every heartbeat on the planet.
He doesn't. But and it's not even like he was posing because it makes no sense for his character. Like for him to try and like play human to say who's Bruce Wayne, that's gonna attract all the attention.
But the hearing the heartbeat thing, and then he can't find his own mom. Yes. The defense Zack Snyder gets is because if he listened to find his mom, he would also hear a whole lot of other people in trouble, and then he'd have to ignore them.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he'd be really sad.
He'd be really
That's a
sad.
reach.
Yeah.
He could almost hear the sadness as he was making out with Lois Lane in the crater of Metropolis. You just hear the screaming people trapped in buildings. I'm sorry, we gotta make out now. You just turn up the mix and you just hear screaming.
Well, it's a Zack Snyder movie. He beat the big villain, so he gets the girl.
That's how that works.
Them's the rules.
Them's the rules.
Not if you're fucking in the new Transformers, though.
Yes. That was actually
That's
really
a full,
cool at the
despite
end.
like instead of produced by Zack Snyder, Michael Bay, it says despite Michael Bay.
That was the most bizarre thing ever. Like, cause remember when we left, I was in like,
Eh?
you asked me, I was really confused what I just seen, cause it was like, that's a lesson about consent from a Transformers film. I am confused.
You know Lindsay Ellis's channel, right?
Yes.
Oh, I love
You know her
that.
video
Yeah,
about.
I love
Okay, good.
Lindsay Ellis.
I just had to make sure.
Stop
that-
white knighting, Jason.
Yes, Jason.
I used to subscribe to a Patreon.
Yeah.
Stop.
What do you mean used to?
Uh,
No, I teased totally.
There are also
Stopped
men
all his
that have
Patrons to save
movie
up for
channels.
Japan.
That's a very good reason.
Yeah, sorry?
There are also men that have YouTube channels, Jason.
I know,
Why did
well,
you
I
get
watch
like
Movie
a
Bob too.
representative perspective? Yeah, but he's a total cup.
But we're talking about like manly men, not like H-Bomber or like Philosophy Tube or stuff like that.
Yeah, no,
No,
H-Bomber
no,
Guy
no.
doesn't count because he recently had a stream where he said trans rights was good.
What?
Ooh.
But then again, so did John Romero.
Wow.
Did you
Oh
see
my
that?
God.
Yeah, that was
John
confusing
John
to me.
Romero was like trans rights
Seriously?
You
on the
did-
H-Bomber Guy stream.
Did you see?
It was the fucking, like, again, like, that part of Twitter just went,
So good.
Oh, on the topic, I forgot to mention it last week, but you know Star Wars Episode 9?
Not personally, but I'm
As yet untitled Star Wars Episode 9.
Mm-hmm.
It's doing horribly with reviews at the moment.
Really?
Yeah.
How?
I don't know.
It's the
I
same
don't
people
know,
that are like,
fucking-
oh, like Captain Marvel's a disaster. It's also doing terribly in reviews.
It's a mystery.
Well, I saw it on Twitter, the people that went to the test screening of Dark Phoenix, I completely forgot to
The
mention this,
Phoenix and X
were saying that, like, wow, this is like watching Fan Four Stick again.
Oh, now I want to go watch Dark Phoenix.
No. I still haven't watched Fan Four Stick.
Remember that time I made you
Your life is richer than
Your
mine.
life is way
Hey,
better.
remember the time I forced you to come to my house to watch Fat Four Stick?
That's why it doesn't come over.
I remember.
It was a
Sorry,
great night.
I'm harping on about this a bit because I recently
No,
watched the film.
Hop.
No.
That's why we're here.
And they're going to be spoilers here, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
it's like
Yep.
That's the spoiler alarm.
You've had a year to watch this film.
a year and months.
Like by the time even I've watched it, then I assume everyone's seen it.
Well, you're in mumps. People aren't
Yeah.
vaccinated.
Also,
Yes.
it made 1.3 billion.
Yeah.
Such a fucking
Oh,
disaster.
fucking
Yeah, not like anyone saw it. So I
Huge boycotts.
like I literally went out searching and trawling the internet and trying to find out like what people were bitching about with Last Jedi.
What's the angle?
What is it? What the fuck is their problem with Rose? Why did they
Well,
like?
isn't she like,
also a woman.
she's a woman and she's not white?
Yeah, she's also not white.
Oh,
And she also
right.
Also, her
has
core
ideas
values are inherently
about capitalism
anti-war.
and the establishment.
And also she cattle prods Finn.
Yeah.
Yes,
which,
sorry, that
which
was
is very insensitive.
That was the thing.
Yeah, because she's grabbing the phallus and she's like dominating a man.
Oh, we're going from to a Malvian thing. Yes.
Yeah, that's
We're going
that's
full in.
probably it. That's
Totally.
it.
Yeah.
We're going all the way.
That's
We're
almost
going,
definitely it.
we're going at least 6 inches in.
Yeah, that had to happen.
Don't flatter yourself.
So one of the things I saw that like that group of fanboys was very upset about was, spoilers, Luke Skywalker's death.
Yeah. Because no,
What,
no,
you mean the
because
supremely appropriate tear-jerking death?
You mean the
Luke
culmination of his
Skywalker's best
character?
moment
what was supposed
where
to
he
happen.
Loganed.
Yeah.
What was supposed to happen is he was supposed to fly there in his X-wing
With
and
his
take
laser
them
sword.
all out with his laser sword.
Yes.
And then instead of doing it, he just talks about how ridiculous that would be. And then die. I wonder if these people, because a lot of people, they cite the old expanded universe, and the old expanded universe loved sucking Luke Skywalker's dick.
Yes,
Yes,
because
that's part of what I
like-
hated about it.
He was went
God.
from
He was-
just this absolute god. And
Space
it's like,
Jesus.
as Ryan Johnson points out, everything Luke Skywalker does and says in this film is 100% in keeping with Luke Skywalker as he has been throughout the film. Luke Skywalker in A New Hope is so fucking annoying.
Yep.
But I wanted to go to
yes.
Tashi Station to pick up some power commanders!
So the Star Wars lover that I was watching it with last night when I was bitching about how much I used to hate Luke Skywalker and how he's just been redeemed for me, is like, you're the only person who doesn't like Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, people have just
people
it's
conveniently
actually
forget.
like they forget. They also go on about the new cast being, like bad actors, and okay, true with Finn. He sort of he could have been in the original trilogy. That's how bad he is.
Yeah, John
Yeah.
Boyega
Wow,
is not
man.
the strongest.
Yeah, like
No.
that's like Alec Guinness.
Whoa.
That's the worst thing he ever did. But the new actors are actually all really good, and a lot of people talking about, oh, they don't have the
Dude.
same presence and
Adam-
it's like,
Adam
when was the
Adam
new-
Driver is maybe one of my
only-
favorite actors right
He,
now.
it's
He's
the
so
only
good.
truly great acting performance in a Star Wars film.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
the first time it can be used as an example of great acting.
Yeah.
For the first time.
Daisy Ridley is more competent than almost anyone in the original trilogy. Finn is a mixed
She has
bag.
become so. She was a little shaky at the
Nah,
start.
she's still.
I
She's
thought
gotten
she was
better.
shaky.
No,
Yeah,
she's
she has
she's
done
still
better.
good, but she ain't Adam Driver.
but-
what I'm
but-
saying is she's a good actor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Finn is not great. Poe is good.
Hux is grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
Hux
like
is
Adam
fantastic.
Driver is actually incredible, and so many people just go on about, oh, but he's so white. He's not as badass as Darth
Should be
Vader.
more laser swords.
Did they not see...
He's such a Darth Vader wannabe. Yeah, that's
That-
kind
that-
of
that's
the
his
point. That's his motivation.
It's literally on his
Question
CV.
mark.
It's on his CV.
That's-
That's what it says there.
Top
Yeah,
line.
professional Darth Vader cosplayer.
So in terms of like legitimate weaknesses of the film, did anyone else get the impression that the editor was on drugs in the beginning?
Rushed for time.
The pace was way too fast in the beginning, and they kept cutting just like a second or two, sometimes three, too early at first, and then later on the pace slowed down a lot.
The only place where I really felt like that, I liked for me the beginning felt really, really good. Was, and I mean it's the cliche to say, but like the whole Canto by.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like it's just the funny thing is, as a scene, if you watch the extended version, the original cut of it, just as a self-contained scene, it works a lot better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it has room to breathe, and it actually
Yes.
becomes this sort of Spielbergian sort of adventure romp.
Yeah, but we didn't get that.
Yeah,
in
we didn't
cinemas.
get that,
We
and
got
if you had that in the film,
Yeah.
it would be terrible considering
Yes.
context. So it's
That makes
just, I
sense.
think, it was just ill-conceived. That subplot where they free the
running
the
Kangalamas.
thingamajiggers.
the big dogs, the never-ending stories.
Kangalamas.
Yeah, that. When they free, like
The
that
agendas.
whole subplot thing makes very little sense and contributes very little. So
Yes.
I understand what she's doing. She's illustrating a point to him and saying, we have to fight, and that wraps up at the end, like, oh, we have to fight them with love. We can't sort of kill the things we hate. We have to save the things we love. But it's like, it kind of falls flat because those things are just literally about to get
Yeah,
recaptured.
they're about to
Yeah.
get recaptured and
Yes.
taken back.
Like-
they can't run anywhere.
But it's still so much fun.
Yeah, but in the context of the film, it isn't though, because it just
Yeah.
feels like and also just in terms of how it's executed, it feels like it's supposed to be this big expansive world, but every shot feels claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
when
yeah,
they're
yeah.
out running and then they're just out in the field suddenly. It's, I don't know.
Well,
It
I mean,
felt
have you?
that
It's the
really,
weakest part of the
it-
film.
In terms of context, I can see why the productions designer would do that, because have you looked like on Google Earth or on maps at Las Vegas?
Yeah.
It's literally the strip, right? And yeah, it's expanded this town, but it's like strip desert. Like it is very small.
No,
desert.
I understand that, but it's like
It doesn't read
it's
well.
still
Yeah.
that just
Yeah.
means that like at its core, it's not very well conceived.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot more like Benicio del Toro's character that comes in there, which
Yeah.
is like he steals the fucking show.
As he does.
And I love the design in the actual casino. There's so much
Yes.
great stuff, but it
It was
just
so good.
that whole little side plot just I understand why it's there structurally, but just in execution, it's just
It could have been better.
yeah.
I really loved the comedy that they brought in as well.
There's no
What
jokes
is
in
it?
Star Wars.
It's
No,
not really
this
comedy.
is-
Wars!
Exactly.
There's never been jokes in Star Wars.
It's not funny. It's very
not funny.
serious.
This is a serious.
Remember,
mess up.
George
It's
Lucas
not a
was
melodrama.
George Lucas is a
serious
visionary.
visionary.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to buy some death sticks?
You want some death sticks? I
It's
don't
all
want to
about
buy
the
some Disney. I want to go home and rethink my life.
It's all about subtle, like nuanced commentary. You want to buy some death sticks?
It's not a melodramatic, campy space opera at all. No.
Nope.
No, it is epic hero's journey.
Serious
Yeah.
business.
Oh, one more common critique that I see is people are like, "Oh, this doesn't feel like a trilogy," ignoring the fact that Adam Driver is like, and his relationship with Daisy Ridley like is sort of the core of the whole thing.
Yes.
It just feels like they're making it up as they go along. It's like these are the people that buy into this idea that George Lucas had the
10-year plan.
trilogy.
Had the 10-year plan.
Yeah, he had it all worked out. He had like the original Prince of A New Hope didn't even have episode 4. Like
Yeah.
it was just A New Hope. That just fucking destroys me that people have built into this. It's the founding fathers.
This
you know, it's
mythology.
this myth making of like he had all and the way it was all supposed. They forget he made the prequel trilogy. He made 2 fucking Ewok films. Well,
Yes.
he allowed 2 Ewok films to be
And
made.
Christmas special.
He allowed the fucking Christmas special to be made,
The
And-
Ewok animated series.
and Return of the Jedi, and that other fucking
And that
thing,
thing that
we
we're
saw.
not going to talk about.
Have you seen the
What is
3D
this?
animated
No, please,
show
I
that he
can't,
was
Dion, I
making?
can't do it again.
That Disney.
Star Wars. What is it? Outtakes?
I've
Have-
heard. I've
I-
not
I
witnessed
can't
this.
do
It
There
hasn't
is an
happened to me.
extended trailer.
Mm.
I will not show it to you here. You
Thank
can
you.
go find it for yourself. Not in my parents'
Not in my hair.
No, not here where I work and live and breathe. It is honestly one of
It's one of the most upsetting
shocking
things I've ever
things
seen.
you will ever see. And it's like this was Lucas directly involved. This was his vision for the future of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Nice.
it got to the point where they had a bunch of episodes made, and Disney just went, shit can.
You're not allowed to put this out.
Yeah, no one's allowed to see this
This has
ever.
to be burned.
'Cause this is like, this will wreck the brand.
It takes a lot for Disney to do that.
Yes, it's
Like-
Disney, the
Yeah.
multinational conglomerate that will put out anything that will
Like
make
they
them
would literally,
money.
like they
But
could have,
what
they
is-
had them already made. It's bought and paid for. They could have just like plonked it
Yeah, for
on,
them to accept the loss
between-
immediately
yeah,
as a
between
business.
toy ads, and they just like
Like the people who brought us how many sequels to The Little Mermaid?
2,
3.
Too many.
Yeah.
3 or 4.
I think so too.
Good lord.
There were 3 or 4.
They made sequels to Change for Your Man?
I mean,
No, change for that dick.
that
Yeah.
one.
That one!
We're not being very specific if we just talk about Change for Your Mind. Jason.
Yeah,
That's-
like
To be
that's
fair,
Disney.
that is
all
that
about it.
era.
To be fair, she had just stayed a mermaid. Everything would have been fine.
Yeah, but Disney's always been pushing an agenda.
Yeah.
Yes, they have.
like when they were making like war films, you know, like
Yeah.
They did some great stuff there.
Oh, if you go back to like Fantasia.
I love Fantasia.
I haven't seen
Do you love
Fantasia in
Fantasia? I also
years.
do.
Absolutely adore Fantasia and Fantasia 2000.
Do you remember a centaur called Sunflower?
No.
I think her name is Sunflower. So, Disney was very, very, very blatantly racist when they made Fantasia.
Well,
and
yes,
there was
yeah.
this... You remember the centaur scene?
Yes, of
There
course.
was this one... It's like Sunflower or Buttercup. There was one who was coded according to very
wait.
racist.
Yes, I'm remembering this now.
Very racist American like caricature.
Yes.
And she served the other centaurs. And what Disney did decades later, when people started pointing out that, you know, hey, this is kind of shitty.
Oh my!
They shifted the color.
They shifted the color, they cut the character out of some things, and they pretended it never happened.
Yeah,
that one.
For those who don't know,
Send it around.
That one, yeah.
Oh yeah, they like their African American characters like.
Now they Song of the South that shit right away.
my favorite instance of Disney with that sort of caricature is for a couple years where the steamboat thing with him as the captain.
Willie.
Have you seen the rest of that thing?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I'm so surprised they still use
That's
that as
their
like a
flagship, and it's like
literally 90% of their court cases, like where they've been lobbying and petitioning and spending millions of dollars,
is to
fucking
erase
altering
that.
and destroying altering and destroying copyright laws, is to extend the copyright period for that film so it doesn't fall into the public domain. That is how like influential fucking Steamboat Willie is. They've spent that should have been in public domain like 30 years ago or something.
But
and they
know.
literally almost
They
a
know.
lot of the major issues that exist in copyright law are literally because of that film and Disney preserving its copyright.
Yeah, I used to lecture on Disney. It was fun times. My
Interesting
students get upset
times,
with me
I'm
every
sure.
time.
I used to lecture at Disney. They never replied to me.
Talking about Disney and sticking it to them, so like as with Song of the South that never happened. I don't care about the Disney money.
Whoa!
Ooh, fighting words.
These
Strong
are
words.
this has to be
who's
said.
fucking rolling heavy with fucking Netflix cash here?
No,
Not
so
all of
okay,
us
so you
are-
know how
Not all of us were born with a silver subscription in our mouths.
I see what you do.
platinum bitch. Anyway, so you know how Song of the South never happened. Right? The songs don't exist. That movie never happened ever. This is why you go back to vinyl. Because I have a Reader's Digest box set in my shop which has Song of the South on one of the records. Yes.
Holy shit, son. Digitize.
The ninjas are gonna come for you, Marcus. They're gonna burn down your
Did
shop.
you know Disney listens to this podcast, so you have
You've got like 10 minutes.
2 weeks to fucking.
No, they listen to it live.
Oh, yeah, shit.
Yeah, I've got 2 weeks and 10 minutes.
Can I ask you a favor, please?
Yes?
When someone buys that,
Yes?
please tell me what they're like. I'm so curious about who's going to buy that.
Okay.
In fairness, it does say Reader's Digest, and it does have like the word Disney on one of the vinyls. So I guess it's probably going to be like middle-aged, slightly clueless Tunny.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, is
Yeah.
someone going to buy this and get home and go, oh shit?
Oh,
No, she's probably going to get home and listen to it and go,
You remember-
Lekker uit daar.
No, well, to be fair, also it's
To be
on
fair,
one.
to
It's it's on one record of a 6-record set.
Okay, yeah.
No, it's just like
What
a whole.
hilarious surprise.
They also have that racist aristocrat song on it. Aristocrats.
We are Siamese, if you
Yes,
please.
sir.
Yeah.
Go Disney.
We're firing
One
James
of
Gunn
those,
for his problematic tweets.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is it's like, oh, these tweets that I made, like, I've left them up because I own my mistakes. I apologize for them years ago. Like, I was a shock jock, basically.
My
Like,
job was to
like-
be Gareth Cliff.
Like, Disney definitely knew about those tweets.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. They do not hire without a thorough background check, and it's like, oh, well, guess you're gonna have to take this bullet for us. Bye.
Sorry, just hold this L.
Oh yeah, fucking one of the Brie Larson hates you videos that I watched. Interesting.
Oh, sorry.
Is this gonna
sorry.
be underneath how to correctly
Very-
foreshadow and how to incorrectly foreshadow
very,
now in my
very,
YouTube?
very briefly, just to interrupt you. There's that whole genre of like how Rey has ruined female protagonists.
Yes.
How Captain Marvel is destroying like female protagonists. Like, wow.
Yeah,
sorry.
but you know, Ripley was a strong female protagonist. And she was
I
only
fucking
in her underwear for the most of the movie.
And you know she's written as a man,
love
right?
that tweet.
Yeah.
I love that tweet
That's
that
why.
you liked.
That's why she was a
one?
good character, because she's written as a man.
Exactly.
If fucking Terminator
Oh,
1
yeah.
or Aliens came out now,
No.
the same fucking people would be saying the same shit about
Yeah.
them.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's
Oh yeah.
interesting.
Oh great. It's a
Identical.
strong woman that's gonna fight.
Well, no.
the alien.
If it was T2 following an
T1.
already released Terminator 1, because then you've got strong badass Sarah Connor following up the movie with helpless Sarah Connor.
No. They specifically mentioned T2, I think.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be fascinating. But there's that like convenient forgetting things about this is this
Yeah.
new terrible thing that's happening. Like also when people start talking about this is ruining Star Wars, I'm like, do you remember a film called The Phantom Menace?
Yeah. Do you remember
I'll
every
try
existing
spinning.
Star
That's
Wars
a good
film
trick.
except A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and parts of Return of the Jedi?
Yes.
Small parts.
Christ, I tried watching it recently.
Attack of the Clones is the exciting one, Dion.
It's so dense.
It finally showed us what Yoda can really do.
I gotta say that that's a badass fight.
Oh yeah.
What did you think of Yoda in Last Jedi? Going back to
Oh,
Happy Tree?
Perfect.
Oh.
I cried.
So
We cried,
And
man.
that is like, we are what they grow beyond. Like, that is just what, like that whole thing,
Yes.
and
that whole message is
I
so
think
pure.
I think the problem is, and I think one of the genuine mistakes they did make is their emphasis on legacy characters. I think, I almost said Phantom Menace. Force Awakens. There's so many Star Wars movies. I think Force Awakens would have been, for me, even stronger if they just kept the focus on the new characters. Like, what took me out of it
Was
was
being distracted.
I was so into it, yeah. And then like, and I know it made for a great trailer shot and everything, but Han coming in, and suddenly you're not like, oh, this is Han Solo. You're like, this is an aged Harrison Ford. Oh,
Yes.
he's really doing his best. And you're suddenly so distracted. And the problem is, we've spoken about this before, is that in this film, Rey is Luke,
Yes.
the Luke character.
Yes.
And Luke is the Obi-Wan character. But they can't let go of it. They want Luke to be
You're
Luke.
holding on to the past.
Yes.
Let go.
Yeah, and it's like, the movie does everything,
Destroy your
but
past.
literally, actually,
Kill
it
it
does
if you
basically
have to.
scream it at you, that it's like, he is sort of, he's past it, he's past his prime, he's passing on lessons, he wants the next generation to do better than he did. He basically is, people always go on about Force Awakens being a New Hope ripoff. It's like,
Yeah.
Luke is Obi-Wan! Nobody, like, call them on that!
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, he goes off alone, he's a hermit, unwilling to come back. Like,
The film does interesting things with nostalgia.
No, you're forgetting Obi-Wan was sent to Tatooine. Remember? In the
Yes.
prequels?
And
He
what
he was
about
sent
Yoda?
to Tatooine to...
Yoda big coward confirmed.
Yeah. No, he was sent to Tatooine to commune with Qui-Gon Jinn, because Qui-Gon Jinn had figured out how to be a Force ghost.
transcend and be a Force ghost. This is
Yes.
a serious movie franchise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think if the original trilogy had been preceded by the episode 1, 2, and 3, and people had really sort of grown attached to Ewan McGregor's character and so on, I think they would have had a very similar reaction, because like, oh, okay, cool, oh, it's Obi-Wan, cool, they found him in the desert, but it's all about this new whiny kid. What the fuck?
And Obi-Wan doesn't want to help, when in the last ones all he did was want to save the world.
And then
Yeah.
It was a
Obi-Wan,
character assassination.
and then Obi-Wan dies. He just dies, and
he
his
just
robe
turns
just
to
crumples.
dust. He doesn't even fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't even really fight. He and like Darth Vader just
doesn't.
like sort of like
And then,
Yeah, it's really just straight, but yeah, people don't have, we've spoken about it before on the podcast as well, that people going on about, oh, remakes and sequels are killing Hollywood. What year was it you said? Where like something like 6 of the top 10 films of
Oh,
the year
yes.
were like remakes and
Remakes and
sequels.
sequels.
It was like
that
that
was-
was in the 50s or something.
yeah.
yeah.
Not new.
The
You just
time
weren't
is
alive then.
Yeah.
You just don't remember.
It's always been like that. And people talk about, you know, directors who they just keep making the same story. Have you looked at John Ford? Have you looked at how many times he made exactly the same story in different films?
Every time? Is it
Pretty
every
much.
time?
It's either
Pretty
every
much.
time or never.
Like, it's
One of the two.
Yeah, see,
It's
that's
amazing.
why George Lucas is a genius. He just made other people's films several times.
Yeah, he just ripped pieces of westerns and other things just
I
off
will say
wholesale. and
the
just-
one thing I do respect, I have many issues with George Lucas, but the one thing I do really respect about him is the fact that he made like the original trilogy. Well, he was part of the making of the original trilogy, which is sort of so venerated and like became such a huge
Enshrined.
part of everything. And that when he then made his prequel trilogy, he didn't just pander to the original fans. As terrible as his vision was for the
It was
prequel
his
trilogy,
vision.
that was his vision. He refused to like just try and make a Star Wars film. I mean, look at The Hobbit as well. Like,
must we?
no, like
No,
where,
please,
I mean,
God.
obviously Lindsay Ellis covered that very thoroughly, but where they had the Lord of the Rings, and then they're like, oh, The Hobbit is it's a nice little like fairy tale for children, one movie, Guillermo del Toro, it's going to be fantastic. And it's like, nah, Peter Jackson coming, you got no lead time, but make Lord of the Rings again, quick.
Yeah, I know you took
We
over.
got so many
I know
people
you
to
took
pay.
over 3 years to prep for Lord of the Rings.
We
You
had
shot
to
them
pay
all
so many
concurrently.
studios.
You started Weta workshops, but do now.
You basically employed the entire country of New Zealand as
tripled New
extras.
Zealand's GDP.
And then screw them over.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Pretty much.
But do it again,
Fe-
but
it's
now.
the Fire Festival of movies.
I saw a lovely thing the other day of like, on a scale of Marikondo to Fire Festival, how together is your shirt?
Mine's at about Fire Festival, I guess.
Yeah, same.
Wouldn't that be the low thing?
Yeah.
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 Have you seen
Who
both the
whispered
Fire
that at
Festival
me? I have no
documentaries?
direction
I
of
watched
hearing
the
at moment.
Netflix one. I have not had a chance to watch the Hulu one.
I want to watch
Likewise.
it because the Netflix one, you can see that it was made in conjunction with Fuck Jerry Media, where they're like,
Yes.
oh, we're letting ourselves off the hook big time. And then, obviously, the Hulu one has its own issues because it was actually made in consultation with...
Yeah,
They paid him.
They paid him a fair sum of
They
money.
paid him a shit ton of money to have an interview.
I just prefer the Internet Historian one.
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, the...
Because he was just like, this is what happened.
He's a small.
Nice.
He's a small
guy
YouTuber.
with like no
yeah.
real
Yes.
vested interest.
Yeah,
It was
I
just like,
followed
oh,
it.
this is
I
pretty
followed
fucked.
it at the time. I've got to say though, the Netflix one is so tense. Like I
What?
know what's gonna
Yes.
happen.
Yeah.
I followed this in real time, and it's just like
Yeah. I mean, like even
all
if
gonna
it has
die.
its issues, like Netflix knows how to make like a tense documentary.
yes, I did. I was just sitting there. I'm like,
It's like, did you ever
are they
watch?
gonna make it?
Did you watch the Icarus documentary,
I
which is
want
about
to.
the Russian doping? Like that's
I was
also
gonna say Icarus is a myth. dude. Sorry.
No, you must watch the
no, the
docu.
documentary is called Icarus. It's about
documentary
Russian
about
doping, yeah, and it's like this guy is really like the whole thing, like because he's a whistleblower from Russia.
Oh shit.
Every
Oh, no.
fucking second, he's fearing for his goddamn life,
Shit.
and you feel it, and it's incredible.
And then Smash Mouth plays.
No, you're thinking of the Vice documentary Lords of Chaos.
I'm actually thinking of Rat Race.
I think you are. Hey, I
Wow,
watched.
I have not thought about that movie in like 10 years.
Worst ending ever.
Also, never watch Vice documentary Lords of Chaos. It's terrible.
Just don't ever watch anything
Vice
produced by
are
Vice.
the right headlines. They're fucking built this cool.
That's how we do it.
Because that's also terrible with representation. Now that I think about it, I mean they get American actors to play Norwegians,
Scandinavians.
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 Oh.
Sorry. It is just general catch-all term for when I'm not certain where.
Where
Which
Laplandia.
we
where the
band is
Northern
from.
Europeans are from.
Yes. Yes.
How long do I have left? 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Oh, we should probably wrap this up.
Yeah, I think we
Right.
basically, I think we've basically asserted that everything we need to assert that Disney's got a terrible agenda and that they're just ruining movies. And now that they're buying Fox, and that's apparently closing this month, so they're just going to ruin Deadpool now, and Deadpool's going to become a feminist.
Throughout.
What do you mean become a feminist?
Become a feminist, yeah.
Because Deadpool's not.
No, he's not.
Deadpool's going to become a feminist.
He's a
He's
cool
for men.
guy
He's
who-
hyper-masculine. He's
who
for men.
cuts people in half.
And he's totally straight, right?
Yes, he's
Yeah.
very straight.
He's very
a
straight.
straight man.
And his girlfriend is a stripper.
Who never pegs him.
No, never. It never happened.
Nope.
Yeah, sorry,
Amongst
I
the
misspoke.
awful messages, I did see a heartening message on social media. The title of the tweet was awful.
Are you
because it was
sure
like,
you-
It was Brie Larson. Brie Larson says this, but
Yeah.
it was an interview with the woman that voice acted Alita, and she was saying like, it's super cool that she gets the voice actor Alita, and that young dudes can relate to Alita, and that that's cool because that's important too, because it's important to have a broad spectrum of people that you relate to.
Yes.
So
I mean,
it's like, and she's like, I related with some of the male characters in my film, and I don't see that there's anything wrong with that.
that's
So
awesome.
it's like,
Nice.
what a nice inclusive message.
So she hates white people.
Yes.
too.
Yes.
White men.
And
White
she's
men,
not
sorry.
white.
Yeah.
My recommendation for
And
this
she used
week
inclusive.
is that you should get indignant on Twitter.
So just be on Twitter.
Yeah,
My
go-
recommendation for this week is go hug a white guy. He deserves
My
it.
recommendation for this week is delete your Facebook.
Protect
I'm going to
Christmas.
second that one.
It's so sacred and under attack.
Just a quick.
My recommendation is that Dion pushes the button to stop recording.
What's your recommendation?
Get rid of humans.
All right, that's good.
Yeah, noble.
Yeah.
You can kill them after you hug them.
Kill all humans. It's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah.
Collectibles.